Hello everybody, welcome back. It's Cape Rugby TV. We talk about club rugby in Western Province. We bring you all the highlights, the action, the results, the fixtures, the logs, and more. Big thanks to Hisense that has come on board Cape Rugby TV as the official technical partner. Score Energy Drinks, nice to have them on board, as you know. Of course, the official supplier to Western Province Rugby 7-side Dulux Maitland. You can see them right behind me now. Dulux Maitland has come on board with Cape Rugby TV. They're at number 30 Coburg Road. You want all your paint solved, then Dulux. And of course, Colourtone is also on board with Cape Rugby TV. Nice to have Colourtone back. Ray Morkel and the boys. In fact, Colourtone was our very first sponsor on Cape Rugby TV. All right, folks, we're going to talk about rugby this evening. Let me introduce you to the panel. With me, Morgan Newman. Hello, Morgan Newman.
Hi there, James. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Lekker, man. We missed you last week.
Yeah, unfortunately I had a bit of an emergency at home, but yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, we all have those kind of emergencies. I have them on a regular basis. I just don't get home. Jerome Parvat. Welcome back, Jerome.
Hi JP, it's good to be back. I did not have any emergencies, was a bit busy, no emergencies, but was a bit busy. And it's good to see, I just think, I hope the rain is coming. It looked like it wants to come, so we need the rain, so it looks like it's good weather outside.
Yeah, no, definitely. The rain, the weather forecast says it's going to rain and then it doesn't rain, and then you check the weather forecast again, they delay it by an hour and then you check in hours. Anyway, Jonathan van der Walt, nice to have you back.
Sure, James, thanks for having me, man.
Good stuff. Right, folks, we might as well get straight into it. We went down to Kayla boys to Jachtershof, Kuilsriver Violets. Folks, let me just quickly tell you that tonight's going to be a reasonably full show. Kuilsriver and Violets was a big game over the weekend. We'll take a look at the Best Med School of Excellence trials. That's also on the cards. And remember, keep your cell phones handy. If you've got your Hisense phones, then we've got some great prizes up in the mix tonight. You can, in fact, win yourself a case of Score Energy Drinks, and you can win yourself a Hisense Infinity Smart TV, a 40-inch Smart TV, courtesy of Best Med. So that comes up a little bit later in the show. Remember the keyword, the short code number, 33090. So keep your phones handy. We'll keep reminding you of that during the course of the show. But it was Jachtershof this weekend. Kayla boys had their first home game, played against Violets, which are of course going on the break now as they go into Ramadan. So it was Violets' last game, in fact, after a 5-game run, and Kuilsriver's first home game. Let's see the first half highlights. Right, folks, that was, of course, the first half. Kelsriver Violets, and it was 50-50 during that game. Jerome, I think you were probably the only one watching the highlights, so I'm going to go to you first. Morgan Newman and Jonathan Avalt talking here about player selection. Give us your idea of the first half of what looks pretty much like a cattle stampede. It's so dry on the field.
Yeah, it does. That's why I say hopefully the rain will help the fields here now. But I think Kelsriver dominated the set pieces, and they got a heavier pack, so they dominate there. And with the forwards, I saw the hooker Ludwig ran over a couple of guys, and also Oswin Mentor ran over a couple of guys. But when Violets got the ball, I know their plan was, or it looks like their plan was to spread the ball to get away from their big forwards, and they were successful in running it if there's a turnover. But Kelsriver looked like the team, they've dominated the set pieces.
Morgan Newman, let's go to you now.
I
always have to be careful when I go to Morgan Newman. Something Jono is going to hop out the box when it comes to Morgan.
No, I watched the highlights there, Jeff. So tough conditions, I must be honest. Difficult to play there, you know. Obviously, as soon as you play on a pitch like that, it creates a very forward dominant game. But yeah, I mean, look, just looking at the lineup that Violets have, it's a strong backline, so it makes sense for them to really to shift it to the backs. And to pick up a result, but I mean, you know, it's still you can't play without your forwards, and the Violets forwards just held their own by the looks of things. You know, I don't think they may have dominated, but just to hold your own and set a small platform for the backs is really all that they needed, and clearly worked for them.
Well, we'll take a look at the second half highlights. It's going to be interesting to see what you guys have to say there. Of course, it's hard to tell from watching just 1.5 minutes of highlights, which is of course more for the fans as opposed to a technical analysis. But Jono, if we go to you, in that snapshot that you spotted there, that you could look through the dust.
Yeah, look, I thought it was Clifton Fourth, and it was the touch series that you're watching there. Good to see some older Falsbear and some SK Warmers guys in the mix there as well on the wing. And again, like Jerome said, you know, Kelsriver, home ground advantage, trying to dominate up front. But I'm sure the second half is going to be a little bit interesting for us.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about that home ground advantage because, you know, the dynamics of playing your first home game. You know, this was Kelsriver's first home game after a couple of weeks. Let's take a look now at the second half, and we'll talk again about what we think happened on the field. Back in a sec. All right, so there we can see it now, the second half highlights. All right, Morgs, let's go back to you. Any change in your thinking from the first half comments?
Look, if it was a tight game, then I think, I see them scoring a little bit of a try against the run of play there. I think Violet scored a try against the run of play, which is often not very, when it's a tight game, you got to keep it tight and you got to, minimize the errors. So it looked like, to be honest, that Kales River may have just, tried to give the ball a bit too much air and, ball going to ground, winger picking it up, scoring under the poles, 7-point turnaround after Kales River won attack. So difficult, but I mean, there's a hell of a lot of experience in Violets. If I just go to the guys that I happen to play against for clubs around, Mikael Hartley was at SK Warmers for years. I've played with him at Western Province, through the ranks. The same with Talib Johnson that was there, played against him when he was at Falls Bay. So they've done some serious recruiting in talented, experienced players that are, the best of the club rugby guys around. So
you're talking about the Violets guys now?
I'm talking about the Violets guys, yeah.
But you can say the same thing on the Kales River side. They've got JP Kellerman there. Jerome, I'm bringing Jerome into this now. JP Kellerman is there. They've got Charlton van Jaarsveld, who was captain of UWs. He played at Tigerberg. He's going to be back on the park next week. Yeah. But when you got the likes of Kellerman there, Jerome, and he played, I think, in the Vodacom.
We played Vodacom. He played emerging side.
Yeah.
And also Oswin Mentor, who used to play for Belleville. He's there with them.
Yeah.
Also huge experience. And then Ashraf Smith. He's also there, older guy. So they've got huge experience in the forwards, whereas Violet has the experience in the back.
But the part that you guys don't see there is probably about 10 minutes towards the end of the game. This game could have gone anyway. Kales River were in the lead. They didn't control their set piece. It got to Violets, and they immediately spread it wide. And in the last 10, 15 minutes of the game or so, in fact, the last sort of 10 minutes, and it was difficult to measure the clock. We didn't know exactly how much time was left. But in those last few minutes, Violets just kept spreading the ball wide. And the defensive lines just didn't seem to hold. I mean, you've got to secure your ball when you have it. Jerome, John?
Yeah, but that's exactly JP, and I mean the heavier pack, their forwards couldn't help the backs to defend the Kales River forwards, I think, because there's quite a few heavy guys. So nowadays you need everybody on the field to defend, whether you're a tight head or a loose head or a lock. You need to get into the defensive line, and they were just too slow to get into the defensive line. Yeah. And with the steppers of Violets,
I'm going to bring Jono into this conversation now, but I actually don't know if I should, because his team plays more like it's a TV team, like a Super Rugby team. So maybe Jono doesn't think. Maybe Jono doesn't think anymore like a club rugby player, because he's at that higher level now. But Jono, it seems to me that if you lose possession and you get turnaround, in club rugby, the defensive structures are just not as organised. So if you lose possession and you give the ball away, the opportunity to strike and be successful on that strike is much higher.
Yeah, again, just to take it back a notch, like any game, whether it be Super Rugby or Club Rugby, if you have the ball and you're on attack, and
Jono, we're trying to launch you for the Springbok position here. You got to take it while you get it.
If you have the ball in attack, all your guys are nice and deep. If you turn that ball over, you're still in that deep formation. So once the other team gets a turnover, if they don't kick it out, which is what we always coach not to do, but you play that turnover ball, that's when you're going to start to get your mismatches, as well as you're going to get defenses, systems very much unorganized, and that's going to be a huge threat. And I think Violets took their chances. You'll see on that sandpit of a field that the guys played on, a nice lucky bounce, but I think the centre, as Morgan mentioned, and the two wingers for Violets on the day took their chances, and they pretty much almost won the game for them.
All right, Morgan Newman, if you had to take a drone, right, and put it over the top of the field, and you look at, for example, let's say, for example, the All Black side, you'll see that all the lines fit up nice and perfectly. You have a bunch of guys in the front, and you have a nice back line, and a guy fullback at the back, and all your defensive lines and everything is set up. But when we look at lower down, the maybe, for example, in the club rugby space, it's like throwing a bunch of tennis balls. You put in and it just looks like a little bit messed up. Now, of course, club rugby coaches don't have as much time to look at the video footage, as much time to spend with the players and remind. to get into position and practice that over and over again with videos and so on. We don't have those luxuries. But if you don't get those defensive lines back into position quick enough, and you're a little bit scattered, anything can happen.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. You know, I think in your analysis of, I think the All Blacks were probably more scattered than our local, than the Springboks, if you want to call it that.
Well, let's just say at the moment, let's hope they're scattered at the moment.
But look, I mean, you know, I think in rugby, you know, on attack, there shouldn't necessarily be numbers on your back. You know, guys need to play into space. Yes, there will be a general formation, but I think for the most part, you know, the game is evolving to the point now where players need to have the skill set to put themselves in a position of a hole and be able to make the pass. You know, every player.
But isn't it? I mean, is it really that complicated? Because I just get the feeling at club rugby we don't have that luxury. You've got maybe 2 or 3 times a week with the guys. You just have to remind them. You stand in A, you stand in section number B, you stand in position number C. Stay there, don't move, and you just practice that over again. But we seem we're not getting the guys into reset position.
Yeah, I mean, look, as top coaches that we've got next to me, they're probably better to answer it than me. But for my 2 cents,
you're talking about Jono now.
I'm talking about Jono and Jerome.
Okay, all right.
But he was my coach, you know that.
Who, Jerome or Jono?
Jerome.
Well, that maybe explains a few things.
But no, just to give you my my amateur opinion, to be honest, is I think, you know, the game needs to evolve, and with the amount of time that coaches get with club rugby players, you rely a fair amount. Yes, you can put players, you can give them a broad structure, but you rely a fair amount on players playing with individual brilliance, seeing what's in front of them, looking up, seeing what's in front of them, and getting players to feed off each other. So maybe one playing into a hole, the other one running a good support line. Those things you can't coach. And sometimes I wish coaching higher up had less time with their players, because sometimes you start to coach.
Overcoach.
Yeah,
overcoach.
Whereas you want to rely on individual brilliance. Allow players to start reading one another as opposed to forcing this guy. You got to go left, you got to go right. I would like to see players go, you choose which way you want to go, and the guy behind you needs to run an angle or read your body language, go for the offload, make a decision. Are you putting yourself in a position to be an offload, or are you putting yourself in a position to clean or be an effective cleaner?
All right.
So overcoaching when they get too much time, I think we overcoach, and it's nice to see club rugby players still expressing themselves without being overly coached.
All right, I think we're going to talk about this after the break again, but and Jerome, I'm going to bring you into the picture there. That's when we maybe should be leaning on players' experience, players that have been through the ranks and have had an opportunity where they get that higher level coaching. Right, folks, before we go to the ad break, I just want to remind you that BestMed has come on board with Western Province Rugby at the School of Excellence. Now, if you want to get a quote on your medical aid, or perhaps even find a way to reduce your current medical aid, and stand a chance to win yourself a Hisense 40-inch smart TV, a full HD smart TV, courtesy of BestMed, then all you need to do is SMS the word BestMed to 33090. This smart TV has got YouTube, Netflix, it's got Wi-Fi, and all sorts of apps that are available on the Google Play Store. That's of course courtesy of BestMed, and BestMed will be able to help you immediately with a good quote on medical aid, but not only talk about a new quote, but perhaps help you reduce your current medical aid. So SMS the word BestMed to 33090, and as I say, you could put yourself in the mix to win a Hisense Smart TV, 40-inch HD Smart TV. We'll take a break. When we come back from the break, we'll catch up with Reggie Nutt and Ashraf Smith from Kells River, and of course Nadeem McKenzie and Junaid Karim, as well as Riaz Khan and Donnie Isaacs. They were all at the side of the field on Saturday. Back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. Right, of course, Cape Rugby TV. Remember, get those smartphones handy. If you've got your Hisense phone, maybe you won that on the show. You put yourself in the mix to win a 40-inch smart TV courtesy of BestMed. Just SMS the word BestMed to 33090. All right, we were Kells River over the weekend. Kells River played against Violets. It was Kells River's first home game, and of course, Violets, call it last game before they go into the break. We managed to speak to Reggie Nutt. He's the coach at Kells River. Right, folks, with me now is Reggie Nutt, or Reginald Nutt. But as I said, I wasn't planning on doing any interviews, but I'm here at Kells River, Jachtershof. I've been bit by the geest, the rugby geest. Reggie, first home game, you were probably looking for a better result.
Definitely, JP. I think the game didn't go our way. Congrats to Violets. I think they wanted more especially with the Ramadan coming up. I think they want to end off on a high and just take it from there. But for our guys, I think we need to step up, and that's very important. We need to make sure that home games is home games, and you need to take your 5 points in your home game.
Small little things like securing possession in the line out, making sure you take those penalties when you get them. You've got to take those opportunities.
Yeah, definitely, Japes. I think we actually lost it there by playing quick. Our scrum of play a little bit too fast, try to make the game faster, and they actually wanting that kind of thing that they looking for us to play the game faster so that we can play their game. I think what we actually had to do was just slow down, take composure in the game, kick the lineouts, rather keep the ball as close as possible and pull them in and then play it wide. But the guys didn't do what we want them to do.
Well, those are all things that you can go back and work on now. I haven't had a chance to talk to you since you've taken over as coach here at Kuils River. You must be loving it.
Love it, definitely, JP. I think the spirit of the boys and the spirit of the people at the club is excellent. I think from here on, hard work. We need to work as a unit from management team, coaching staff and players. We need to take this and we build from it.
Well, win or lose, it is the first home game, and now you can at least go and celebrate with the fans that have been dying to see you guys at home.
Thank you very much, JP. We'll do so.
There we go.
Thanks.
There we go. Folks, you're watching Cape Rugby TV, and on board with Cape Rugby TV is, of course, Dulux Maitland. They're situated number 30 Coburg Road. Dulux Maitland will tint anything for you. They come out to your premises. They'll give you expert assessments. If you want to save a lot of money with your projects, especially if you're a contractor, Dulux Maitland will come to your premises. They'll spec your premises, and they'll work out exactly how much paint you need. And at the same time, they will take a look for things like damp or any other construction matters that they need to give you advice on. Free delivery anywhere in the Cape Metropole. Look out for their rock grip ranges, including the wall and ceiling paints, the acrylic roof paints, as well as the plaster primers, all available, of course, at Dulux Maitland, number 30 Coburg Road. Visit the store and, well, when you are there, fill in the form and you put yourself in the mix to win a contractor's trailer worth 15,000 Rand. That contractor's trailer is absolutely fantastic to put in the back of your vehicle, put all your construction materials in there, and really it'll help you move all your equipment around to your different sites. So just remember again, Dulux Maitland, number 30 Coburg Road. They're available to help you. They come to your premises and they'll do a full inspection for you and work out the specs of exactly what it is that you need. And at the same time, they'll give you some construction advice. Well, certainly in terms of the quality of the materials that you are going to need. Jerome, first home game. Let's get back into the home game thing. John, I know we touched on this. It sounds easy when we talk about home ground advantage, but it's your first home game. You've got to settle into it. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, with this competition, it is important to win your home games. Unfortunately for them, on the day they couldn't, but they're a quality side, so I think they will bounce back.
Settle into it.
Yeah, and what Reggie Nutt was saying there is that once they open it up, the gaps they just ran them. And we were talking about the defense.
Yeah.
And talking about the defense, JP, I think defense is not that difficult. If you can just explain to your forwards exactly where they must go from a scrum, your 1, 2, and 3 will never get to a wing. And I see how many times guys tend to run, like we were talking like schoolboys, run to the next breakdown, run to the breakdown. Before they get there, the ball is out. So if they get up off a scrum, even if it's a wide play, they're supposed to hang there. But once the defense come back into their channel, then they must just tackle.
One of the things that I noticed was when the guys get loose, pressure comes onto them because everyone's just running onto them, and the ball just gets a little bit more loose. And then inevitably what happened is the guy feels like he has 5 people running on him. He's looking around, he can't see anyone, and then kicks. So we keep kicking away possession. I don't know, Jono, I mean, which is what anybody would do. You have got no choice if you're feeling that much pressure.
Yeah, again, I think, like Jerome says, that defense is very simple, but we tend to complicate it. So you need to have some sort of a structure in place, but you also need to have players that are relatively fit, because the reason is all you need is one tackle to form one ruck and you can get back into your shape.
Yeah.
Every time that there's a line break, you force guys to scramble defense, and guys will look like you're saying where they're running all over the show, helter-skelter, almost like an under-9 soccer team where everyone bunches. But one tackle, one ruck, you can get into your line and your shape. And then the nearest person that's there, you always try to move your heavier forwards closer towards the ruck, but it's not always possible if the ball's wide. And then like Morg says, 1 to 15, everyone must take up a position in your line, and you must press up all together, whether it be fast or slow, and you must make your tackles. It's that simple.
All right, well, let's listen to Ashraf Smith now. He's, of course, the captain at Kells River.
Yeah, it was what we expected from Violets. I didn't expect anything less from them. Good game from them on their side. Yeah, we got a lot of support, but unfortunately we let them down. But next game we will try much better. Yes, I think they wanted it more, but we could have taken our opportunities, but we didn't.
Okay, welcome back there, folks. Ashraf Smith, of course, the captain at Kells River. Yeah, is that what it comes down to, Morgs? When you get two teams that is fairly equal, is this concept of who wants it more on the day? What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a difficult one. Yeah, I think both teams want it just as much as the other, and I think sometimes it's the bounce of the ball, sometimes it's one or two small errors or a little bit of work that they could have done extra during the week to secure the victory. But yeah, look, I mean, it's a tough one now. They've got to bounce back quickly. Losing your home game, if you want home advantage to last you through the season, then winning your first game is very important, because I think you generally bring the crowd back, and once you bring the crowd back, they start getting behind you. Once they start getting behind you, the wheels start to turn, and then it becomes a difficult place to go and play.
Well, you talk about, before we go to the guys at Violets, you talk about the home ground advantage. So everything there at Violets is about gees and the spirit, and someone who's no stranger to Cape Rugby TV is, of course, Donnie Isaacs. And we managed to speak to Donnie because when we're there with a microphone, we might as well speak to the folks from the club. And Donnie gave us a bit of insight as to what the vibe is at Kells River. All right, folks, yes, as I said earlier on, I've said it for the third time, I'm standing here with a lapel microphone, but I've got no choice. What an absolute pleasure. Back here at Kells River with the Caleb boys, Yachtershof, and with me is old stalwart and, of course, no stranger to Cape Rugby, Donnie Isaacs. Donnie, heck of a game.
JP, absolutely amazing game. If you were looking for a tight game, this was probably going to be the one. If anybody could have guessed that the scoreline would have been 12-11, tight game indeed. Both teams played actually very well. A lot of mistakes on both sides, maybe some key decision-making errors on both sides. But I think at the end of the day, probably Violets wanted it more because when they got to out the red zone, as we call it, they actually scored the points, and that was the difference.
Incredible atmosphere here, though. You've got a new president, you've got a new coach. You've painted the stadium. I don't know if the folks are going to see a picture of the stadium on screen, but it's looking fantastic. Like you've painted the stadium into the colours of the Caleb boys. It looks like it's going to be festivities tonight, and that's what you guys have always been good at, is making a gees at Yachtershof.
JP, absolutely yes. Like you mentioned, brand new executive team. The key focus area for us in 2017 is implementation with a difference. So every time that people are going to get to Kells River, they're going to see something different, something fresh, something new. And today obviously was a big success for us as well. It was the first home game, and we partnered with the Pink Ladies organisation, and that was a huge success. And obviously, as you know, we've managed to raise just over 13,000 rand for that organisation. And obviously it's a worthy cause, so we're very happy with that, yeah.
No, that's fantastic. All right, Donnie, time for us to pack it up. Let's go inside.
JP, always nice chatting to you.
I've got to change microphones. There we go. Cheers. All right, Donnie Isaacs there, of course, a friend of Cape Rugby TV's. Let's get straight into it now, folks. Speak to Nadeem McKenzie. He's the coach at Violets. Very happy with the result. Folks, with me now, Nadeem McKenzie, of course, coach at Violets. Also been on the show a number of times. Nadeem, you must be absolutely happy with the result.
Yeah, it's always good to be humble when you come here and you win. And I am excited, but more or less, let me be humble as a coach, because at the end of the day, we worked hard for a good result.
Nadeem, 5 games in the bag so far. You go into the break now. You'll be looking to come out of the break, though, and trying to maintain some momentum.
Yeah, of course we are, because we've got 5 home games, 3 away games. 5 home games. If we work on hard enough with it, we'll get where we want to be.
Strong points today. Let's just talk a little bit about the rugby on the field. I thought you were spraying the ball wide at the end of the game there and really taking advantages. Maybe the forwards during the game, during the 70 minutes of the game, had sort of worn themselves out or getting a little bit tired, and you started taking advantage of the backline players.
Yeah, because I felt that our forwards were doing our job, but the backs had a chance to crack them open. And in the last 10 minutes, that's what I said. Let's take them wide. The opportunities will come and we will score. And that's exactly what happened today.
Well, we'll leave it at that. Congratulations. Fantastic game. Well done.
Thank you very much, big man. Cheers. Have a good weekend. Cheers.
Nadeem McKenzie coached with Violets, very happy there with the performance, of course, and of course they now go into Ramadan, and the guys will have a bit of a break. So we're looking forward to some big games. One of those games that everybody's talking about is going to be the Violets Collegians game. So a little bit later in the season, look out for that game. It's going to be a derby match, and it's going to be absolutely massive. But let's speak now to Junaid Karim, captain at Violets.
Yeah, good result away. We needed it. Points on the board. So we'll go home happy and we'll fast great. Momentum's picking up. Training well. Going through the structures well. And at the end of the day, we just needed a couple of results to get on the board. And lucky for us, it's coming at the right time. Intense, but we kept our composure, and at the end of the day, the win was good. Yeah, we needed a little bit of experience at the back, so we got a couple of guys in, couple of experienced guys. But at the end of the day, it's a collective effort and it's a Violets effort.
All right, Geraint Karim there, of course, has put in the time. He's put in the time at Violets. Jerome, how important is it to have guys at a club? They've been there for a while. They bring stability. If you look at just I mentioned JP Kellerman there at Kelsriver. You got guys like Junaid at Violets. He's been there for a while. You know, having guys that have been there for a while bring a bit of stability. I know at Jono's club he's got guys that have played like 479,000 games. Yeah. Can't seem to get rid of them. He's obviously got a recruitment problem there at False Bay, but it brings a bit of stability.
But that's good, JP. I support guys like that 100%.
Like Jono.
Yeah, like what Jono is doing, because he created a vibe and a culture there. And I think what they're busy doing at Violence also, at Kelsriver, they're trying to do that, so that guys can stay at the club. So it's your responsibility to keep the guys there. I know guys go for money or whatever, but it's good what guys are doing to keep the guys there.
Not at False Bay. Apparently there's no money at False Bay. Jono, but clearly you have an abundance of joint support.
The well is dry, there's water restrictions.
There's water.
But again, just to add to that, I think to have not just senior players, but to have guys that have been at your club for a long time, it's always good. Because younger guys and new people too, that they tend to gravitate towards those type of guys, and they are the lifeblood of your club, and that's where your culture and stuff is built around those type of guys. So yeah.
But those guys, I look at those guys. I look at guys like Morgan who's playing at Hammies, and that it almost looks like when they're on the field, it looks like they're playing in slow motion. They sort of, there's no panic about them. They've played on that field 100 times, or in some cases even more. And they just seem to know where the space is. They're a little bit more calm, a little comfortable. Brings them a little. That's what the experience brings.
Of course, most definitely.
Yeah, Morgs, I don't know. You can add to that.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I mean, look, it's twofold. I think that experience does bring a little bit of calmness, but also, you know, good players generally look like they have time on the ball. You know, I think a good player. Yeah,
that's the word I was looking for. Time on the ball. Great way.
A good player generally has time on the ball. You know, it looks like you say in slow mo. You know, and there are a lot of youngsters that have that too, but can get flustered in the head when the intensity of the game gets up. And there, it's nice to have, like Jono says, a blend of youthful players that have time on the ball with experienced players that also have the time on the ball, because they will just feed off and it will create a sense of calm, and often with that comes confidence in your ability as a team to know that even if you're behind, you can come back from most scenarios, you know.
Yeah. All right, folks. Also no stranger to Cape Rugby TV, Riaz Khan. not quite sure what his position is, PR manager at, maybe chairman, at Violets, Riaz Khan. Right, folks, I'm here at Kelsriver, Jachtershof, Kelsriver against Violets today. And wasn't planning on doing any interviews, but I got an old friend with me, Riaz Khan. Riaz, what a game today, yeah?
Excellent game, excellent match. I tell you what, no, anybody could win on the last.
Yeah.
It came down to the last couple of minutes, and Violets, the defense, it was good for us today, and we did very well. We took the game through. Wonderful.
Unbelievable backline though. I mean, I saw a lot of skip passes. I thought that I think even the intercept pass there as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
The days of Violets playing forward rugby is long gone now. We play an expansive brand of rugby. We're playing a different brand of rugby, and exciting. As you can see, for us to come to a club like Kelsriver and take the spoils here today, that shows a testament to where our club is trying to head to. Yeah.
You've had 5 games in the bag already.
5 games in the bag.
You're going to those 5 games. Do you think that built a bit of momentum for you?
Yeah, obviously we started the season a bit slow, but we're getting to where we want to be right now.
Yeah.
Okay, the team is starting to gel. We're starting to find out exactly who is who in the zoo, so to speak, and we're doing well. We're going to build from here definitely. After the fast, we're going into the Ramadan break now. We wish all our spectators and everybody well for the fast, but after the fast we'll be back and we'll take it from here. We'll take it further, definitely.
You're going into the fast now, obviously on a high. There's going to be great spirits amongst the community.
Wonderful, great spirit, and obviously we've got our in-season training as well during the fast after hours, so we're going to continue with that.
Yeah.
Keep up the momentum. We can't lose this now,
Yeah.
JP. We definitely can't lose this. We're on a good wicket. We want to keep that momentum going. Yeah.
A couple of other teams are also obviously going to be on a break as well. One of the games that everyone's still talking to me about is Violets Collegians.
Yeah, that's on the 29th of July. That's going to be a very, very big match. We were speaking about it now already because we know what to expect that day.
Yeah.
Collegians, they are going to come fighting. Obviously, they've had a bad start to the season as well. So, but on a derby day like that, the spoils can go in either direction. I mean, it's going to be one of the toughest games we're going to play this year as well.
We'll leave it at that,
Yeah.
and I'll say goodbye.
Thank you, JP. All the best.
Right there, Riaz Khan. Right, folks, we're going to take an ad break before we look at Super League A. But remember, if you want to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, all right, then all you need to do is SMS the word SCORE to 33090. You put yourself in the mix to win a case of Score energy drinks. It's very easy. Of course, Score is on board with Cape Rugby TV as as of course a partner to Cape Rugby TV, but also with the Sevens at Western Province Rugby. Congratulations to last week's winner, Farouk Stemmet. Farouk walks away with a case of Score energy drinks. Somebody from Cape Rugby TV will be in touch with you shortly, Farouk. We'll take an ad break. When we come back, Super League 8. There we go. Welcome back, everybody. Cape Rugby TV, remember, #WP Club Rugby is where you can find us on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. #WP Club Rugby. Just do searches there and you'll find out anything you need to know about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Let's take a look now at the results in Super League A. Belha with a loss to Hamilton's, 44-17. Union Mill back on form, 43-30 over Brackenfell. UWC beat NTK. It was a win for UCT, 36-7 over Primrose, and Tigerberg, they beat SK Warmers 38-14. Hamilton's Jono, we might as well, in fact, Morgan, let's talk to you about that. 44-17 over Belha.
Yeah,
Tough
tough place to go. It's not a bad Belha side, and I think the first half was extremely tough, and then in the end, I think the depth of Hamilton's pulled them through. But Belha they're going to take some big heads, I think, in Super League.
All right, Jono, let's talk to you about Union Mill. Ishmael Dolly will be happy with that result. He comes off 3 of probably the toughest games. False Bay, Marty's,
And Hammies.
3 games. Comes back, Brackenfell. Be happy to get back on track.
Yeah, look, again, we call it the week of death. I think every team has been through it over the seasons, and some still go through it these days. It might have been a shock to some because Brackenfell at home are generally pretty tough, and they're also having they've pretty much had the last 2 seasons they've been performing well. But knowing the type of brand which Unimo play, they like to go for points, they like to score tries.
Yeah.
I'm not quite surprised in the end result, but maybe Brackies will maybe be kicking themselves a bit to lose some points on the home field.
Jerome, UCT will be happy with the result over Primrose. Primrose not an easy team this season, but UCT also been struggling a little bit. They'll be happy with this win.
Yeah, definitely away win for them, and
Yeah.
they need all the points that they can get, so
Yeah.
it's a good result for them.
And then Tigerberg, SK Warmers, that must have been a clash of the Titans. Jono, good win for Tigerberg. SK will be disappointed with that result, but monster game.
Yeah, again, going to the theatre, playing at Florida Park is no easy deal. False Bay, we have to go there on the weekend. And SK have been playing some good rugby, but I think Tigerberg at home are very, very strong, and it's nice to see them bag some, again, a 5-pointer.
All right, folks, we're going to take an ad break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the results in Super League B. Right, folks, we got a couple of pictures that came in. Let's quickly look at this. Brackenfell, Union Mill, 43-30 for Brackenfell. Union Mill, of course, playing at Brackenfell. Nice picture here, SK Women's against Tigerberg. And then there was another action shot there that you can send in. This one coming in, of course, All Saints against Laguna. Collegians, 2017, a win for them over Franschhoek. Kuilsriver, as you know, they went down to Violets over the weekend. A win for Rangers over Hands and Hearts. St. George's went down to Hamlets. Villagers, 22-14 over Paarl. In Super League C, All Saints, 57-7 over Laguna. Hamadiers went down to Wraithby. Kylemer went level-headed with Strand United. Vineyards with a win over Goodwood. Young Stars went down to Elsie's Rafir over the weekend. Good result for Elsie's. Ansel and April and the boys be very happy with that result. Other results coming in over the weekend, and of course that's in the City League, is a win for Caledonian Roses over Temperance and Cities. Progress beat Police. Young Ideas went down to Manenberg Rangers. Southern League, Noordlikers pulled the win off over Rocklands. Peninsula beat Atlantis Thistles with a 1-point win over Silverleaf, and Young Wesleys with a 24-14 win over Retreat. Eerste Rivier, 56-0 over Delft. Van der Stel with a loss to Blue Stars United, and of course Whistling Wheels went down to Stellenbosch Coronations. Paarl, in the Paarl League now, Paarl Rangers with a win over Windmill. Riverstones went down, or pulled the one win over Allendale 13-10. Simondium beat Young Standards. Violets Paarl drew level with Lower Paarl, and Young Gardens with a win over Peril United. Okay, so folks, as you know, Bestmed are of course involved with the Western Province Rugby School of Excellence. They're currently busy with the trials. We managed to catch some of the highlights from last week.
The following Western Province Rugby School of Excellence insert is brought to you by Bestmed. Be active, be safe, be happy, be nutri-wise, be fit.
Ja, ek dink in die begin was dit nou nog 'n bietjie die mekaar geweest, maar ek dink hoe meer die oudjies ook saam met mekaar speel, hoe beter is dit. WP was nog nooit tekort aan talent, so talent is hier definitief. En ek dink die kinders het meer kopkrap, want daar's goeie talent op sekere plekke. So dit gaan nie maklik wees nie, ja. Ek dink dit gaan maar oor kombinasies en dit gaan oor die beste spelers in sekere posisies. En dan ook natuurlik oor die seuns wat hande opsteek en regtig die ding wil doen. So ja, ek dink alles saam. Soos ek sê, WP het altyd baie talent en ja, dit gaan regtig baie kopkrap verg hierso. Kyk, ons is baie bevoorreg. Ons het 'n WP Elite Squad gehad wat al verlede jaar middel Augustus en later bymekaar gekom het en begin werk met al die talent wat geïdentifiseer is. En ons het ook vroeg Februarie al begin werk met hulle. So dit help altyd om ouetjies al vroeg te sien en te identifiseer en almal op dieselfde vlak te kry. Soos jy weet, is dit maar verskillende groot skole en ook verskillende ligas in die WP en om almal op dieselfde vlak te kan kry. En hierdie WP Elite Squads bied dan ook dit. So ja, baie professioneel benader. Daar's ook oefenprogramme en gimnasiumprogramme gegee vir die seuns. So ek dink all in all is dit soos almal op dieselfde vlak wat dit dan betref.
The following Western Province Rugby School of Excellence insert is brought to you by Bestmed. Be active, be safe, be happy, be nutri-wise, be fit.
School trials happening at the moment. Of course, that's going to be interesting as we want the kids to get through the ranks. Jerome, very busy at the moment. All the kids out there busy with the trials, trying to make sure that they put their hand up for recognition at Western Province.
Yeah, definitely. Yesterday was another set of trials where they played against the Boland schools in Wellington. And now after this they're going to a coastal tournament which they play against SBD, EP, in all sorts of their teams, and then that's the final trial. So it's busy times now. Yeah.
Busy times for it now. Of course, we managed to speak to one of the players. We spoke to the under-18 fullback Miller Du Plessis.
The following Western Province Rugby School of Excellence insert is brought to you by Bestmed. Be active, be safe, be happy, be nutri-wise, be fit.
Het gaan baie goed. Ek dink die ouens lyk op vorm. Is lekker om altyd om saam ander skole te speel waar jy gewoonlik teen mekaar speel. So is lekker om 'n bietjie by mekaar te kom en saam te speel. School of Excellence is great. Dit is lekker om deel te wees. Die talent is goed soos gesê, so jy kan jouself tot die beste toe van jou vermoë bereik, jou talente bereik. So ja. Yes, dit was 'n goeie gevoel. Ek dink elke ou speel vir mekaar. Ons is 'n span, so toe ons die kalender kon wen, was dit 'n goeie gevoel vir ons en al die harde werk wat ons ingesit het, was beloon geword. Ek dink die gevoel vir ander dit sal dieselfde bly. Dit is 'n groot voorreg om vir WP te speel. En soos ek sê, die talent is goed, so om saam met my maats in die span te kan wees sal baie lekker wees en om weer 'n kans te staan om in die kalender deel te neem, sal vir my 'n groot voorreg wees. Ek het nog van kleins af staan ek saam met paale, dan kyk ek die TV en sien ek hierdie rolmodel vir myself, die legendes. So om saam met dit te oefen nou, soos dit voel onrealisties. So dit is 'n groot voorreg om te leer by hulle en ek dink dit maak jou meer lus om hard te werk en vir jouself doelwitte te stel. Vir my 'n rolmodel sal Cheslin Kolbe wees. Ek hou van hoe hy speel en dan omdat hy nog klein is teenoor die ander ouens, wys hy nog steeds hard en hy staan nie terug teen enige ou nie.
The following Western Province Rugby School of Excellence insert is brought to you by BestMed. Be active, be safe, be happy, be Nutri-Wise, be fit.
All right, time for us to take a look at the fixtures coming up this weekend. Of course, a lot of action there in the world of club rugby. This coming weekend, in fact, we got a couple of quotes that came in, folks. Let's quickly get through that. Carla Norkia sent in a message saying, our thoughts go out to Duan du Plessis, who injured his knee and will undergo surgery this week. All the best on your recovery. Thanks and appreciation to the players and coaching staff for the amazing turnaround and deserve all the credit that came in from Violets. And then Michelle Witboy from Tygerberg said the club as a whole has done well. The season is still in the beginning stages and they're in their building phase and they take it game by game and week by week, living up to the club motto, one team, one family, Tira yes. Siraj van den Berg from Caledonian Roses. Congrats to Rajeb Johari from Caledonia Roses for making it to the second round of the under-18 trials. And thanks to the coach there, Ikram Kara. Bobby Joubert from Durbel said, slow start to the season because of many injuries to senior players, but the boys are turning the ship around. Carl Limburg, Raven Olivier have been outstanding so far. And I've got a couple of other quotes that have come in as well. Let's quickly take a look at what's come in on the mobile phone. Regan Marcus from Scottsdene says, after a bye, we hit the road to face Strand. There can only be us. Mikey Cross from False Bay says, big game for False Bay and Tygerberg this Saturday to keep the hopes alive for the Gold Cup qualifier. And then Philip Wesley went on to say, the Wesley's boys are on the move to success. Keep it up, boys. Okay, so quotes coming in. Let's take a look at fixtures coming up over the weekend. It's UWC and Hamilton's, Union Mill and NTK, Tygerberg, False Bay, Durbel, Peniel Villages, Belhar and UCT. Big games there, gents. Morgs, pick of the week in Super League.
Without a doubt, John has got his hands full in Tygerberg, but yeah, I think it's, Tygerberg have been playing good rugby. And so False Bay always a quality outfit, but with their experience, I think they'll just take it in the end.
All right, we'll leave it at that. We're not going to bring Jono van der Walt into this one. We'll leave you alone there, Jono. No, you seem happy to be left alone. Yeah. No comment at all. Super League B, we see Silurians. They're up against Kraaifontein. Kuilsriver take on Helderberg, and Belleville have got home ground advantage to Young Peoples. Strand and Scottsdene, Langa, Macassar, Goodwood, Lagunia, All Saints take on Carlamore. They're playing in Summers West. Western Zebras and Tech and Temperance and Cities and Masupumalele. And then the Northern League is Whistling Wheels and Delft, Stelkor, Van Estel, Kailicha and Blakes, Blue Jets and Blue Stars. Meanwhile, Thistles take on Young Wesley's, Rocklands take on Peninsula, Retreat and Young Brothers, Atlantis and Noordlikkers. All right, folks, let's quickly take a look at Super Brew. As you know, the Cape Rugby TV Super Brew pool is, of course, running, and you can have a lot of fun in the world of Super 15 there. In the top 10, Strip Treya Boy, Hubi, Rentia, Lucky, by Masapa, Krujas, Script, Craig Krog, King Darius and Sabertooth. Those are your top 10 in the world of Super Brew. That's a wrap for tonight, folks. Remember, you can SMS to 33090, the word BestMed, to win yourself a 40-inch Hisense smart TV and get somebody from BestMed to give you some advice on your medical aid. That's a wrap. Morgan Newman, have yourself a fantastic rugby weekend.
Always good to be here, James. Thanks for having me.
Jerome, busy weekend for you?
Yeah, starts tonight. There's games tonight, so yeah, busy.
Yeah. Jono, good luck for the weekend.
Cheers, thank you very much, JP.
We might very well see you out there. Yeah. Right, folks, that's a wrap. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.